freedom is not free. No one ever remembers that. You know, 16 years ago, 9/11 happened, and the whole world was united. Everyone was together. Everybody came together. There was no racial fighting. It's sad that something of that magnitude has to happen to bring us to our knees, to make us realize we're all human. It's one race. It's the human race. And us as Americans need to bond together to get through this. It's sad to see in today's world all the fighting that's going on, everything racial that's happening. I never wish for another 9/11 to happen, but I do wish for that unity that brought us together to happen again. Everyone could just forget about race and go back to the way it was when 9/11 happened, where everyone cared about everyone. It didn't matter if you were white, black, Oriental, whatever you are. It was a great time in this world. Now I look at some of the things that are happening, and I'm scared for my kids, you know? I'm afraid that my kids are gonna have to grow up in a world of hate. I wish it wasn't so. You know, it's that flag that we all stand under. Whether you like it or not, you're here in the United States because more than anything, we have a better life here than most countries. I've been to several countries. They're third world countries, and that's exactly how they lived. That's why most people want to get here to the United States. And I don't blame anyone for trying to get here and better their life, better their kids' lives. I know it's one of those things that you're always going to remember where you were when you heard the news. This is my 9/11 story of where I was. So the morning of 9/11, I woke up just like any other morning, and I was getting ready for work, and I headed out the door. I used to live in this small studio apartment style complex where I believe it was probably used to be a hotel or something back in the day. There was an old retired sergeant of the Marine Corps that was running the office, and I used to go down there and we would BS a lot about our times in the Marine Corps. His time was a lot more different than mine, and I wake up in the morning and I head out the door, and he's standing in front of the office with the office door open, and he looks up at me and he starts yelling that the US is under attack and that we're going to war. And it's still early in the morning, and I'm like, what's going on? What are you talking about? I said, okay, I didn't know what's going on. So after he tells me this, I go back inside and I turn the TV on, and it had just happened where the second plane had hit the second tower. I didn't know what to think, you know? I head off to work, and my boss was sitting there watching it on the computer. He was looking up the news and seeing what was happening. And it was like devastating to think two planes had crashed into these towers. I used to work for a furniture company. So I finally figure out my route of where I'm going. I used to do home repairs. I used to go to people's homes and I would fix their furniture as it was delivered if something was wrong, like a leg broke or whatever it was. So as I'm going to different people's houses throughout the day, I'm seeing the news on their TV because everybody was watching this. I remember the lady's house that I walked into. She had it on the news when the first tower crashed. I was replacing a leg on one of her chairs that came cracked. I literally stopped and just watched that tower fall. It was like an eerie nightmare that was coming true. To see the devastation of that tower falling. The news was reporting about people jumping out of windows and things like that, and I had to go. I could not watch that. So I leave and I drive to the second person's house. Once again, they're sitting in front of the TV and they're watching the news. By this time, the second tower had fallen, and there I was, sitting in a stranger's house, watching these towers fall, as the news is just, they don't know what's happening. They're talking about all the people running around. As the day goes on, I go to several different people's houses, and they're just showing pictures of people, pictures of heroes, I'd say, cops and firemen, and just people running back into the towers to save people, putting other people's lives in front of their lives to save them. How many more people would have died if those heroes didn't run back into the building to save them. I didn't personally know anyone, but it felt like I did, thinking of all the people that didn't make it out. But the unity that the United States had at that time, where everybody came together, it didn't matter whether you were white or black, Hispanic, Chinese, whatever you were, you came together, and as American, everybody was running around chanting about how America was great, how America was awesome, America's the best. And now we have all these protests and fights, people shooting at each other in protest, people beating each other up. For what? Some political statement. For politics that you're not even involved in. It's not you. It's not. You have Trump supporters, you have anti-Trump supporters. They're beating each other up. For what? If I go and beat somebody up, is that going to make Trump not my president anymore? If I go and beat somebody up, now is he going to believe that Trump is the president? Is it going to matter? No, it's not. It's just dividing this country. That's it. Whether you like President Trump or you don't like President Trump, that thought that's in your mind, whether you do or you don't, that is what is dividing the country. That's it. Any law that comes up or anything, any investigation that comes up, if it gets him out of the office or it does not get him out of the office, you going and fighting somebody during a protest is not going to make a difference. So why are you fighting each other? Why do we fight? Why are we dividing this country over a political statement that you just aren't going to make the difference because you go out there and you want to beat somebody up? If you're angry about something and you feel very frustrated, maybe you need to talk to somebody and relieve that anger a different way. There's no reason to fight somebody. These hurricanes that are happening are starting to bring people back together. It doesn't matter what race you are. Somebody needed saving. Somebody went and saved them. Why can't we just do that all around the country? Why can't we just come together as people and be nice to one another? Everyone's holding up their signs of 9/11, never forget. But it seems like America has forgotten. It seems like America doesn't care anymore about one another. Know what it is to remember 9/11. All those people that lost their lives today, in their death, it brought us unity. And we've seemed to have forgotten that. So when we say 9/11, never forget, that's what they mean. Never forget. Never forget those 3,000 people that died, that brought America together and united us. Well, that's my story. What's your story? Where were you? And now we have memorials up like that one earlier. We have t-shirts, bumper stickers, banners. We have all this stuff. But what are you going to do to remember 9/11? In remembrance of those 3,000 people that died. Take care. Love yourselves. Love others. Stop the hate. Stop the fighting.